Hey, yo, I want to talk about pancakes. But before that, I want to talk about you lovely people. One of you sent me some fan art and it is amazing. I'm not going to show it here. No, you got to wait because I love it so much I'm going to do a whole video about it. And it made me want to, I don't know, involve you a bit more. And so to do that, I've put up a Q&A post on my Patreon. Don't worry, it's free. But do check out the tiers if you're able to though. There's some fun stuff on there and it really helps me out. But yeah, find the Pancake Q&A on my Patreon, and in the comments of that post, feel free to leave questions for me, or feedback, or just say hi. Leave me a funny little message. I'm going to try and reply to everyone on that post, and then at some point, once there's enough questions on there, I'll take a selection and make a video just about your comments to that post and my responses. And it'll be in that video that I have a section displaying the fan art too. And if you want to make me some cool art and send it to me, my email and all of my details are linked on my YouTube channel. I don't know how long it'll be before that video's made and uploaded, but if I get sent any more fan art in the meantime, I'll make sure to include it in that video too. Right, pancakes. It was recently Shrove Tuesday, or as it's perhaps better known, Pancake Day. Which, now I say out loud, sounds ridiculous. Do other countries celebrate Pancake Day? Is this some sort of elaborate prank? I suppose I could Google it, but it's a lot of effort, isn't it? Anyway, I missed the day because I don't really care that much. But I do make some banging pancakes, and I thought I'd share my recipe here so you can make them too. Disclaimer, I am not a chef. I can barely cook. I'm just telling you how I make them. I also haven't made them in years, and I'm doing this from memory. So if you're going to attempt to make these yourself, then do so at your own peril. Also, if you are going to give these a go and you're someone that needs help or supervision in the kitchen, then make sure you ask a parent, guardian, carer, whatever before you start. I'm a cartoon. Do not poison yourself or burn your house down because of me. Now, good pancakes need 8 ingredients. So you know what that means. This is a top 8 video. So here are my top 8 pancake ingredients ranked into tiers. And if you don't know what that means, maybe check out my top 8 playlist for context. Link in the description. And don't worry if you don't have all the ingredients, because if you're missing something, I'm going to tell you how you can substitute it with a Magic the Gathering card. Because, I don't know, this is meant to be a gaming channel, I guess? Don't think too much about it, whatever, here we go. Number 8. Flour. 1 cup. Grab a sieve, hold it over a medium to large mixing bowl, then dump 1 cup of flour into the sieve and, sieve it, till you're left with a fine powder in the mixing bowl. It shouldn't take too long, and will mean you don't have any lumps in your flour, which I guess is important or something. If you're left with any little lumps in the sieve, well, just squash them through with your fingers. I mean, your hands are clean, right? And if you don't have any flour, then as a substitute, simply cast Rites of Flourishing. It's an enchantment from Future Sight for 2 and a green. And not only will it summon some flour for you to use when making pancakes, but it will also let each player draw an additional card and play an additional land each turn. But is Rites of Flourishing a good egg? I think so. Everyone likes drawing cards and playing lands. This is fun for the whole table. Plus, it's an essential ingredient in pancakes. G rank for good egg. Comment below if this is the first video of mine that you've watched. They're not all totally insane. Number 7. Milk. 1 cup. Take the cup that you used to measure the flour and pour milk into it. Then add that to the mixing bowl. Do you need to sieve the milk? Sure, why not? And I'm not going to make the same mistake here that the Romans made, so for future generations, I'm referring to cow milk. But you can probably use other types if you like, almond milk or whatever, it's probably fine. But if you don't have milk, well fear not, because you can substitute it for Sacred Nectar. It's a sorcery for 1 and a white. Now this card was first printed in Portal, but as you can see I've opted for the printing from 7th edition, because I feel what the flavour text refers to as the Milk of Paradise is better presented for the art of this printing. Look at the one from Portal. I don't know who this is, but I'm cooking pancakes. Get out of my kitchen and stop putting your hands in the milk. Is the 7th edition printing of Sacred Nectar a good egg though? Yeah, I think so. And if this is from Paradise, I bet it's proper tasty. Another G rank. And that woman from the Portal printing should count herself lucky that I'm not ranking her. Number 6. Salt. 1 teaspoon. Get a teaspoon, or like half a tablespoon or something. Pour some salt into it and then add it into the mix. Do you need to sieve it? Probably not, especially as the sieves are wet with milk. If you don't have any salt, you can substitute it by very carefully casting sowing salt. It's a sorcery from Urza's Destiny for 2 generic and 2 red. Make sure you only cast this into your teaspoon though, because if you overdo it, you're going to ruin your garden. Is the card Sowing Salt a good egg though? Absolutely not. I don't know if doing this is a war crime or not. I suppose I could Google it, but that's a lot of effort, isn't it? But if this isn't a war crime, I mean it should be. E, the lowest rank on our tier list, and if there was a lower rank I'd move it there. Number 5. Sugar. 1 tablespoon. Exactly the same as with the salt, just with a bigger spoon. Don't have a tablespoon? Then like 2 teaspoons instead or something. I actually have no idea about the measurements of spoons, but that's okay. This isn't an exact science. Currently we're just dumping stuff into a bowl. Now, if you don't have any sugar, well you've got 2 choices, and both of them are bad. 1, you can arm up and face these gribbly men roaming Sweet Tooth Village from Wilds of Eldraine. I wouldn't recommend it. You'll have to best them in combat if you want to carve some sugar off of them, and these guys are mean. No, my advice would be to find yourself an Oblivion Ring on the plane of Lorwyn. But to do this you're going to have to be fast, because A, Lorwyn isn't exactly the friendliest of places either, and B, collecting the sugar here will most likely break the spell circle being used to maintain the Oblivion Ring, and whatever that Oblivion Ring had imprisoned will now be free. So you better get gone quick. Is Oblivion Ring a good egg though? I don't know, a nightclub bouncer's good eggs when they're working? Like, I get why they're needed, but one bad apple can spoil a bunch. I like playing this card, but I only ever use it to dick someone over. G for garbage egg. It's the prison industrial complex of Magic cards. Number 4. Butter. Some. How much butter is some butter? I don't know, go with your heart. Put some butter in a bowl. Doesn't seem like enough? Add some more. Does that feel like too much? It probably is. Oh well, not much you can do about it now. Now if you don't have any butter, you can use a traditional substitute like margarine, for real. If you don't have that either though, well, I'm sorry to say, it's off to Innistrad for you. If you thought the creatures of Sweet Tooth Village were bad, well now you're going to have to face Ghoul-Caller Gissa. She's mad, but she loves necromancy. So for this pancake recipe, you're going to need to get your hands on a fresh corpse. Try and trade that with her for some of her butter. How do we know she has any butter? Well, on the card Scuttletide, upon seeing a bunch of crabs, she remarks that she's going to need more butter, which must mean that she already has at least a little, probably enough for our pancakes. Is Scuttletide a good egg? I honestly think crabs are quite possibly my favourite animal, and this is an entire swarm of them. S rank, easy. Is Gissa a good egg? I mean, she's crazy, and she's killed so many people. But I think, if I had a Magic the Gathering crush, it would be on her. God, look at that artwork for her. Look at that smile. Ugh, alright, S rank, now get out of here. Make me compromise my values for a pretty face, ugh. Number 3. Egg. 1 medium size. Grab an egg, preferably from a chicken. Crack it into a bowl. Probably don't sieve this one. And try not to get any shell into the mix. If you do, don't pick it out with your fingers. Use another bit of shell to fish it out. I don't know why that works, but it does. If you don't have any eggs, well, I did a whole video on what eggs are good for Magic the Gathering. That's part of that top 8 playlist. And spoilers, I think we know what the best answer is already, don't we? That's right, it's Dingus Egg, baby. The 4-mana artifact from Alpha, the OG. And is Dingus Egg a good egg? Well, it's already on the chart at S rank for being a literal good egg. But is it a metaphorical good egg? Well, it's made me smile, and it's helping us make pancakes. So it's done it again. S rank, Dingus Egg, baby. 2-time MVP for the win. Number 2. Baking powder. 1 tablespoon. What is baking powder? I don't know. Is it the same thing as baking soda? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. Maybe if you have baking soda, don't use that, as I think it's not the same thing. I mean, it might be, but I doubt it. I mean, I suppose I could Google it, but it's a lot of effort, isn't it? Is 1 tablespoon for baking powder too much? Maybe I'm doing this from memory. Maybe it's only a teaspoon. Whatever, I'm sure it's fine. Why are we adding baking powder if I know nothing about it or even how much to put in? I don't know. All I know is it's the secret ingredient that makes pancakes proper fluffy. Once you've added your baking powder, it's time to grab a whisk. A fork will probably do if you don't have one. And then go to town and whisk the shit out of it. Make sure it's all stirred up, get all of the lumps out, that'll be the butter, and when you're done, you want a texture that's slightly less thick than porridge, but slightly more thick than yogurt. If it's too thick, add a tiny little bit more milk and then stir and retest. If it's not thick enough, do the same with a tiny amount of flour. It doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry. Now, if you don't have baking powder, well, I don't know what to use to substitute for it because I don't know what it is. So it's time to summon an actual chef and ask them. And who better than Azmarano Mardukadaistina Kaldakar. She's a 3/3 legendary creature from Modern Horizons 2, and as she enters the battlefield, you may search your library for the Underworld Cookbook. And then, I guess, either look it up or ask her what will do the same job as baking powder in pancakes. I don't know. But is Azmarano Mardukadaistina Kaldakar a good egg, though? Ugh, dumb name aside, her second ability is to sacrifice 2 food tokens, and target creature deals 6 damage to itself. Isn't she a cook? Is she poisoning people? Oh, E rank. She's a bad egg. These are just pancakes. Maybe we shouldn't have summoned her for this. Number 1. Cooking oil. Enough to lightly coat your pan, but not so much that you're going to spill any. I know it's not really an ingredient, but it's not a tool like a whisk or a bowl, so I'm adding it to the list. Heat some oil in a pan, make sure the surface is fully covered because it will help our pancakes not to stick. And then, when it's hot enough, pour a bit of the mixture out from the bowl and gently tilt the pan around so that the mixture spreads out evenly into a nice pancake shape without spilling any or burning yourself with oil. Now, real talk. This first pancake is a write-off. I don't know why, but the first one always sucks. Doesn't matter how hot your oil is or how thick or thin you try to make the pancakes, it's just part of the pancake magic that the first one is bad. Consider it payment to the pancake god. Everyone after that, though, is going to be fine. Cook them for a little while on one side, and then, when they're solid enough to hold their shape, flip them over in the pan and cook them on the other side. And once that's done, you're ready to serve. Slide them onto a plate, and then get ready to pour some mixture into the pan for another one. You shouldn't really need to add any more oil once you've started, and you'll get like 6 to 12 pancakes out of it depending on the size of your pan and how thick you make them. Thinner is better. Now, what if you don't have cooking oil? Well, Azmarano Mardukadaistina Kaldakar told me that she's been cooking with this glistening oil since the invasion of Dominaria. And apparently it's to die for. It's an enchantment, it's too black, and she says it really infects any dish you cook using it with the taste of copper, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I'm willing to try it. Is glistening oil a good egg? Well, like a lot of cooking ingredients, I imagine it's not great on its own, so I'm going to say G for garbage egg. I wouldn't just sit there and drink a bottle of cooking oil, for instance, and that artwork isn't exactly selling me on it. And that's it. That's how you make pancakes using Magic the Gathering cards to substitute the ingredients. Add toppings as you like. I'd suggest a sprinkle of sugar and some freshly squeezed lemon juice, though honey is nice too. But what about you guys? Are you going to give this a go? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and if you do, send me pictures. I can display them alongside the fan art in that Q&A video I talked about. Pancake Q&A on my Patreon. Link in the description. Check it out. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an ad block, most importantly, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or if you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know, and I will see you next time. Do not hurt yourself whilst making pancakes. Do you need to sieve it? Probably not, especially as the sieves all You fuck. Fuck off, Marvel Snap, no one cares about you.